Well, hi everybody. I'm back again. I should have checked that and made sure it was recording and where I could get the cards and whatever, make sure everything was working right, but I didn't. I'm going to do one more video, and I've been really lucky. Most of them's been turning out, so it's been a beautiful day today, so we're going to leave it that beautiful, and we're going to see what we got. One more thing to read on here real quick. I want to make sure I don't get back into those same cards I just did. I really like these new cards. They're starting to feel really comfortable. It's just a regular Rider deck, but it's a Rider Brilliance, I think it's called, instead of a Rider Weight. Anyway, it's really it's easier to see what's going on than those other ones. It just was hard with my old eyes to see what was going on with those other ones, and this is just really neat what's going on. So I'm going to shuffle them real quick here and see if we can get a feel of it. What we're going to read on now is, and I heard this from somebody else, but it's funny, when I heard it, it just fits so well. It was exactly what I had thought so many times. Ever since Trump's been in office, and even before he even got all the way in there, it was like there was some kind of diabolical plan. And between you and me, I don't think he's smart enough to have a diabolical plan. You know, he had helpers. So I feel like he's been playing Jenga with the whole world, just pulling a piece here and a piece there, and well, anybody that's been paying attention knows what he's been doing, just dismantling our whole government one piece at a time. But even down to this last week, this stuff that defunded a lot of Planned Parenthood, he's not smart enough to do that. And nobody that's really working for him in the White House is smart enough to do that. Unless that Kellyanne Conway, I haven't did a reading on her in ages, is some kind of evil genius. But maybe I should have put her in this list here. But that's what this is going to be about. I'm going to cut these. I'm even going to look on the bottom of the temperance. God, do we need temperance? But anyway, that's on the bottom of the deck here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do the same type of reading I just did. Instead of the Celtic cross, I'm going to go 4 across. And we're going to ask, who's telling him where to pull these blocks from? Where's he getting this information from? And I doubt if any of them gets along enough where they're all working together. There's some mastermind behind this, and it damn sure ain't him. He don't have a mastermind. But there's some place he's really getting influenced on how to tear this apart. Exactly like they want it tore apart. So the first one we're going to ask, and this is the first thing that came to me. This was another thing I'm meditating this morning, is I felt like the strongest one was Steve Bannon. So, and I heard, from what I understand, they still talk on the phone 4 or 5 nights a week. So let's see if who's behind this, which the strings that he's been pulling ever since he got in there, and the laws that he's tore apart, and the way he's gone around corners and underneath and around to just absolutely tear our democracy apart. Let's see who's been helping him with that. And this is the first one across. I think I should have put him last. I think we got the answer here in the first card. I could have just pulled that out of the deck, but I may not have. But the first line across is for Steve Bannon, and he's actually the musician. I have a real hard time saying magician, but he's the one. I always get musician and magician. Anyway, but my tongue just gets tangled around it. I can't help it. But anyway, so yeah. So to start with, at least in the past, when he first got started and first started this stupid race that he didn't even think he was going to win, it was Steve Bannon giving him some. As soon as he got connected with him And Breitbart, yeah, they were steering him in that direction. But I think it's going further. And I mean, there's a whole. It's just like the Nazis took over Germany. If you stop to look and see what they're doing, so there's a whole hell of a lot more going on here. So, but let's see. Oh, see what's. So we got Steve Bannon. He was definitely the main one pulling the strings in the past. Got the musician. And he's making Trump offers right now. Got the 4 cups. Some of these offers Trump's refusing because he's just like everybody knows he's like a 2-year-old who doesn't know nothing. He ain't going to take advice from anybody if you're not close enough to totally manipulate him, or he doesn't know he's being manipulated. But yeah, Steve Bannon's offering him stuff right now, which probably isn't going to be good for us at all. And so far, he's kind of refusing it. That's kind of scary to even think about it. And thank God the obstacle to this is the tower. And I hope the hell that's a tower moment for Steve Bannon, not a tower moment for us. But yeah, the obstacle to that is the tower. So I'm hoping that means that if he is still issuing orders, still telling him what to do, that it's going to get stopped. That it's going to get stopped. That's what it looks like. And the outcome of this is going to be the law. I don't think Trump's going to be there long enough to pull too much more apart. Of course, you've heard me and thousands others say that over and over again. But yeah, there's something going on here. And it's this is the law. This is like the King of Swords. This was the card for Mueller. This is Robert Mueller. This is looks like before they can go too much further in this, that somebody's actually with authority from where, I don't know, but something's going to get exposed. Somebody's going to step in before it gets too much worse. I think Trump's going to blow this up. This is the tower. I think it's going to blow it up. And the next one is it's Steve Miller. Well, we got the 8 of Wands. He's thrown a bunch of stuff and a bunch of ideals into this. He's been throwing different ideals of how to screw the people down at the border and everything else just as quick as he could. And in the recent past, he's been throwing it out there. And what's going on now is he's going to get caught up in this and get in all kinds of trouble. I can feel his trouble. And I don't want to even get close to feeling him. Oh, that's terrible. I don't like Steve Miller. He's going to end up really getting his whole world tore apart over this before it's done. And this kind of shifted instead of just pulling all the different stones, this kind of shifted to the border the minute I turned over, for some reason, these here. I think he's more involved in what's going on at the border, what's being pulled apart there. So maybe he's got several different people helping him from different directions that may not even realize they're working together. And the challenge to this is going to be the American people. They're going to wake up and see this horrible, horrible thing we're doing that we're going to be apologizing for the next 100 years. If we don't get down there and get these families put back together and set up an immigration system where they've got lawyers and judges taking care of them, and not just putting all these poor babies in for-profit prisons. I mean, it is a total disgrace and disaster. I'm so ashamed of our government. And I'm sure if you're watching this channel, or if you watch it regularly, you're ashamed of our government too for doing this. But it looks like the people, at least by the next election, it's going to be overwhelming. They're going to swamp this man. I don't think they could cheat enough to make him win. It's my feelings at this time right now. He's such a loser. Trump is such a loser. And the outcome of Steve Bannon is he's just going to be totally disgraced. And nobody's going to want to hire him or be around him, or he's going to feel like he did back in 3rd grade when he never got picked for the baseball team. And I never got picked either, but I didn't grow up taking it out upon other people. But anyway, so yeah, it's not going to turn out good for him. But a lot of these ideas, especially on the border, have come from him. And this card even signifies more that it was stuff from the border for him. And then the next one, and I know you just heard me talk about this recently, and I had heard of them before, but I had no idea how deep and entangled they are in everything going on, not only in our government, but in governments all over the world. The next one is some of this Jenga pulling coming from the family. And if you haven't watched The Family on Showtime, everybody ought to take the time to watch it. Because if you're interested in what's going on here and around the world, and how many terrible poison fingers are in this pie, you need to watch that. And it is poison. It is some bad stuff. In the name of Jesus, believe it or not. Like I said, but not any Jesus I ever know or commune with daily, but whatever. So, and Jesus isn't the only master that I commune with. But anyway, I don't want to get into religion, so I'm not. Anyway, I've had some beautiful things happen in my life. But the next one's going to be the family. Is this to do with the family? Well, they're the ones trying to pull the wool over people's eyes about what's going on now. They may not be involved in all, which I think they are helping to say which brick to pull. That's why Planned Parenthood probably just got, they had all their, after watching that on TV, if they had their way, all the women would be running around in those red coats. But anyway, yeah. They're shifting the money, they're shifting the circumstances. They've got money going out all over the world under false false reasons, false circumstances. Can't remember that country, but one country, I think they got it declared where they can almost kill people for being gay, and it was that group that was pushing that to the dictators of those countries to set it up that way. So like I said, it's not anything I ever heard from Jesus, but anyway, that's what they're pushing. Sour money. And so if this is coming in to influence Trump, maybe there's some business deals they're making with him. Maybe there's some work going on with this, that they're involved right up to their little necks in with him. Of course, I mean, I don't think he stops to think where these ideas are coming from. He's just like a little kid, stick this in his head and see how far he can go with it. And then we got the Ace of Swords, which is truth. And it's upside down. It's upside down. So I think this truth is going to come out and expose them for what they are. I really do feel like that's what's going on now. Maybe with this still on Showtime, there's going to be some more stuff coming out this. I know Lindsey Graham used to stay at that place at Sioux Street. Well, him and a bunch of other ones. There was also Democrats in there. It's not all Republican organization, but it's a really dark organization. But anyway. So yeah, the truth's going to come out about that. Truth's going to come out how they're all in a conspiracy. Got the Lover's card here. You know, even down to interfering in different people's marriages. Like when that guy was out on the Appalachian Trail or something, they tried to. No, that wasn't the marriage. Well, yeah, they were involved in his marriage trying to get him back together, but they were also involved in another one that. Anyway, I'm glad that he ended up retiring out of there. The one that was messing with his friend's wife or whatever. But he needed to retire. It was good riddance to him. But anyway, yeah, this is from the family. He was also one of them in the family. Yeah, they're in this right up to their rosy red necks. And here we've got exposure. There, more's coming out, even more than's in that documentary. There's going to be a bunch more coming to the surface before this is all over about this family deal. And the next one is who's pulling these Jenga blocks is Vladimir, anyway, Putin. Honest, I haven't had any wine or nothing. It's just my mouth. But is Putin involved in this? We got the six of swords. Somebody's going away. He's been involved in it right up to his rosy red cheeks. And but he's not feeling too comfortable with this right now. He's not feeling comfortable with anything Trump's doing because I think he knows that Trump's going over the edge. He is totally losing it. And, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. So I'm sure that it looks like Putin's thinking of pulling stakes and getting out of his dealings with Trump while the getting's good. That's just what I feel from that first card. That's been in the recent past. Let's see what's going on right now. Well, this is a Republican shiny object card. So there's a lot of people trying to coat this more than usual. This could be the help. I got a feeling this is the help he's getting from Russia already. I mean, it's not like Putin's just pulled everything and left. They still rather have Trump in there right now than especially a socialist Democrat. I don't usually call them that, but a Justice Democrat, somebody that gets in there without owing anybody. That would kill Russia. But they're still working on pushing this Republican Party. What, maybe not Trump, but they're working on pushing the Republican Party. And the obstacle to that, maybe it's worse in Russia than we think it is, because this is the Empress. And I don't think Putin, he might be the obstacle to drawing any more if he's ready to cut his ties and run. But they're still working on getting Trump reelected. They've already got all the memes out or mimes out or whatever. They've already got the stuff out on the internet. But I think this is Mother Russia, but I think this is the people in Russia. I think it may be worse in Russia right now than we think it is. We've seen about all these protests in the street, and I mean, they look like there was thousands and thousands of people. And so it may be the people themselves in Russia that help hold this back for some reason. I can't see what the reason would be and where we're coming from on this right now, but when I picked that up and looked at it, and I knew it was Russia, but I didn't feel like it was Mother Russia. I felt like it was the people in Russia. And the outcome of this, this is either Donald Trump or Putin one, just trying to manipulate their way out of this, just trying to keep a balance so they don't get caught, so nothing more gets exposed. That is strange. Let's go down them real quick. We got Steve Bannon. Yes, he is definitely involved in this. Got the magician. We got the Eight of Swords. Yeah, he came up with all kinds of ideals. Well, he got Trump elected. I guess he did come up with ideals. And he's still coming up with ideals because this is right what's going on right now. And there's money changing hands between Bannon and some stuff to do with Trump right now. But he's thinking about cutting his losses and getting out of there. Bannon's thinking about deserting too. Totally. He says he's just, already some of the bullshit he says, but he's still behind a lot of what's going on. And the next one is Steve Miller. Well, he made him a lot of offers. He's come up with all kinds of ideals, and they've accepted some of his, but rejected a lot of them too. But he has been one of them pulling the blocks out from under this tower, this world. It's going to end up being real. They're going to use this. Mark my word. The Stephen Miller is going to end up being the scapegoat for all this stuff on the border before it's through. They're going to make him the total monster before they're through. Yep, here's the sword of justice. Here's the sword of justice. And it's upside down, which is going to mean that doesn't mean that justice isn't coming on this border or anything. It just means that this is right up his butt, right up Steve Miller's butt. They're going to be pointing it right at him and trying to blame him for all of it. All the rest of the Republicans are going to be blaming Steve Miller for this. It was all his fault, all his fault. We were just following orders. It was all his fault. The next one is the family. And yes, they're right at the center, at the very, very center of all this Jenga pulling that's tearing our government and our democracy apart. They've been trying to tear it apart forever. They have a whole new plan. And believe me, if you think that just the Hispanics are in trouble or some of these minorities before they're through, it's going to be the women and everything. You've got to watch that. And yeah, they're right at the root of this. They're pulling these blocks, and they're telling him which ones to pull. They're the ones telling Trump what to pull. They've got some kind of nostalgic, stupid ideal in their life that it was better in the past, but they don't even want just what was in the past. They want control. As you watch what they're doing when they're recruiting people, and the young women especially, it's a total control. They want total control over women, family, everything. Women's bodies, everything. And they're all joined together on this. This is what makes them so strong. Next, we got the Lover's card, which usually means two, but this is this whole organization. They're all joined at the hip on this, working, getting all those unqualified judges in, getting any, and then of course even in the Supreme Court, they're the ones behind all this Supreme Court stuff. They're the ones behind Planned Parenthood. They're the ones pulling all these blocks and setting it up. And of course we have the Empress at the bottom, which is Russia, and it's helping everybody that's headed that direction. Putin supposedly let Christianity come into Russia, but it's a tainted one. It's not a real from the front end. And the next one is Putin. Yep, he's given them a lot of orders. Got the King of Swords. Most of this has been hidden really good. I better speed up a little bit here. And it's going to be exposed. These secrets are going to be exposed. More connections with Putin and Trump. A whole bunch of connections with Putin and Trump's coming out. Not just a few, a whole bunch. And no matter how hard they try to spin it or balance it or whatever, it's too late. They're not going to be able to do this dance. And I don't need to draw any clarifiers to be able to tell you, no, they're not going to be able to do that dance. And it seemed like there was one other thing I was going to check really quick. Oh, I'm gonna use another deck here real quick. I'm just gonna do a real quick. I'm gonna do 3 lines across, just 3 cards for September, October, and November to see if maybe these. I'm just got my fingers crossed and hoping and praying that these tax returns come out. You know what? I'm going to use my trusty old deck for this. Is Trump's tax returns going to come out in September, October, or November? I got a feeling they got to come out. They can't fight this forever. So I'm going to, let's see, real quick, we're just going to do 3 across this time instead of 4, and we're just going to do recent, past, present, and future on those 3 months and see what comes out. You know what? Or maybe I should just do 2. But let's do it that way and see if it works out. This is something I've never tried before. So recent past for September. We got Sybil of Pentacles. Something might be coming out about Ivanka's taxes. Looks like Ivanka's might be in this right up to her little nose, and maybe even Melania. But something's coming out in September. At least they're talking about it. Trump's going to do everything he can to stop this. And we got the Ace of Cups. So something's coming out about somebody's taxes, and it's coming out in September. But I think it's about one of the females in the family. I think it's about Ivanka or Melania. I don't know why, but I feel like that is. And yes, something's coming out. And the next one is October. Yeah, maybe it's something to do with that stuff from New York, because we got the boys here too. At least one of the boys, somebody who thinks he's really hot shit. So I would say that this is probably Don Jr. Yeah, something's coming out. They already know it. They already know it. And this is for October. This is for October. There's some real shady business going on here with Don Jr. Even more so when it comes out about his sister. Most of it, a lot of it, they're in it together, but he's in some things that are even deeper. Maybe to be some of this money when they were trying to get these. An army for hire going with this. I don't know. It looks like they're going to get blocked in October. Looks like they're almost going to come out and then they're going to get blocked. September, October, November. Let's do one more for November. Wow. I like this. There's all kinds of stuff. By November, this thing is heated up till it's a fire. There's all kinds of stuff coming toward them. I think it's coming out in November. We got the 7 of Pentacles here. Coming out in November. November, so yes. And it's going to involve the whole family. All their money explosions. I feel like it's coming out in November. Well, let's hope these are right. Uh, I'd rather see it before then, but if it comes out in November, I'd be just the happiest person in the world. So yeah, it looks like the whole family's going to be exposed by November, and it's going to be the money, and it's just going to be coming at them from all directions. But before that, you're going to hear something about Ivanka. Like in September, you're going to hear something about Ivanka and some of the mess up she's done, hidden money. I feel like it's money from the, excuse me, from the inauguration or something coming out on her. And Don Jr., it's just going to be all kinds of stupid stuff because he's not even smart enough to know when he's doing something illegal or illegal because he's had that golden spoon shoved up down his throat. And yeah, it's all going to come apart for them. It's going to come apart for them. And then in October, Donald Trump's going to be trying doing everything he can to stop all this information from coming out. I mean, even to the point where he may be trying to get some violence done to keep this stuff from coming out on his family. And it's all about horrible, horrible, dirty money. So by the end of October, he knows this stuff's coming out. And then in November, we got Truth coming out. We got the Ace of Cups. All kinds of secrets being revealed. Really bad secrets because we got the upside down. And got the High Priestess upside down. And it's all going to be on the family. This is going to be more involved. This is going to be all their money stuff. And I feel like it is going to be exposed by November. So let's hope we're right. And I hope you enjoyed this because I really enjoyed it. And I hope if you liked it, push the like button or push the join the channel, subscribe. And if you'd like a personal reading, it's lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. And I want to thank all my listeners out there for the beautiful comments they made. It really helped me come up with some ideas on what to read on because sometimes it just seems like there's just such an overload. And that's another thing I want to tell everybody. Get back from this and get away from the overload. Take walks, turn off your TV for 2 or 3 days. I'm almost not even watching any corporate news. I've been reading from some of the papers and personally I like the Washington Post a lot better than the New York Times if I want to feel like I'm getting real information and the right questions being asked. But anyway, if you feel like you need to keep up, get your news flashes and look at them on your phone every once in a while or something, but just take a break because this is going to go on for a long time. It's not going to like they're just going to expose them and it's going to be over. This is going to be going on. There's so much stuff that's going to be coming out. But anyway, all of you guys just take a deep breath, listen to some meditation music, get outside, get some exercise. And I'm going to Boston a week from Saturday for 2 or 3 days to see my great-grandson, so I'm all excited about that. So anyway, bye everybody, and thank you so much for watching.